Hey guys, what is going on? It is Calder here with another live stream ranking video. We are going to be doing. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? You can already tell by the title. We're going to be doing every single Lex Luthor ever made. Now, as you know, Lex Luthor is a hero. Lex Luthor is the hero Metropolis so often deserves and needs. At most given times, Lex Luthor is just the hero for the people of Metropolis and the people for the DC universe. So we're ranking him. He is the lead character on the box for the Heroclix set Notorious. As we know, this is because Lex Luthor is one of the most notoriously amazing heroes in the DC universe. So, we start off, like always, we're going oldest first. Now, I don't know my Lex Luthors like I know my Captain Americas. So, for the most part, we are going to be referencing realms quite a bit here. So, the very first Lex Luthor comes to us is in Cosmic Justice. This guy, very funny, 69 points. Oh, that sucks. Cool. Have fun in the broadcast. Bye. Anyways, Lex Luthor is a very cool 69 points. So that's the only thing he really has going for him. This is a terrible, terrible dial. Really, really, really bad dial for Lex Luthor. Little leadership, little perplex, little outwit, little mastermind. We can't hate it. For our very first Lex Luthor in Heroclix, he is going to go in D tier. He's not so much cakeless, though, as he has the very funny 69 point value. So we're okay with that Lex Luthor. The next one out of icons, I do like him. We're going to get rid of the fact that he's 212 points. That is totally fine. Who cares? This is a goated battlesuit Lex Luthor. He's got armor and Justice League, scientist. He's got the Society keyword. He's missing like not Doom Patrol, sorry, Legion of Doom and stuff like that. But this is a good Lex Luthor. A solid 5 damage. He is going to go. I don't want to put him because he is arguably like bad. We're going to put him in C tier though. I'm okay with this Lex Luthor. I think he's a very solid Lex Luthor. I think he can roll with C tier. Yes, obviously all Lex Luthors are S tier. He's an S tier character, but we are totally going off of his HeroClix versions and what they represent and whatnot. So we're gonna keep going here. Next up, I gotta try to remember. We go to Justice League. Yes, this Lex Luthor. This Lex Luthor's like fine. He's not great. He's the green pants, purple suit Luthor, right? So he's not Power Suit. He's not President Luthor. There's basically 3 Lex Luthors. You know, there's slightly more, but for the most part, there's 3. There is Suit and Tie, Businessman Lex Luthor / President Lex Luthor. Then there is Power Armor Lex Luthor, and then there is the green pants, purple suit, very cartoony Saturday morning cartoon type Lex Luthor. If these were all stop clicks, so this dude got like a legacy card, and these were all stop clicks, I would really like this. However, this Lex Luthor is going to go to D tier, and let me tell you why. I really don't like a Lex Luthor with super senses. He also has a 16 super senses to start. I don't like this dial like at all. There's like no part of this dial I really enjoy. His perplex is like kind of neat, but this Lex Luthor, he's tough. He's very tough. We're skipping Crisis because this is not a main universe Lex Luthor, which also steals the dial from Justice League a little bit with the same top dial powers and then instantly moves on to phasing. It's really weird. So I'm not in love with this. We're skipping Brave and the Bold because that is a duo figure. We do get to Blackest Night. Now, the fact that he is an Orange Lantern is really cool. This Lex Luthor, goated in his own way for being our technically, truly only Orange Lantern Lex Luthor. I don't know how he was ever worth 160 points in any universe. I think people thought Mastermind was worth way more than it was, but it's like, what? I'm keeping him top dial to do what? To TK people around? To use Outwit? And if he counters the standard speed, power, attack, or damage on an adjacent character that can already use, he can use the standard power. Like, it's like so bad. But he is going to go to C tier at the very least because Orange Lantern Lex is cool, and it's a cool sculpt. It's really neat. After Orange Lantern Lex Luthor, we go to the Superman. All right, so this Lex Luthor is based off of the All-Star Superman storyline, which is goated storyline. And by goated, I do mean it's goated for Lex Luthor, because Superman and All-Star Superman is an unbearable character, but that storyline makes you be like, oh man, Lex Luthor's like totally right about basically everything. So it references his whole last perfect cocktail as a super serum, which is kind of neat. So I love this catching you off guard. Hypersonic speed, impervious, 11 for 4. It just a stop click is all this is. But it's so fun. So just being fun, that's going to go B tier. We're going to say that's that one. The Fast Forces version of Superman, not as great, I will say. He is a simpler version of the one we just saw, with just kind of a mastermind ability. So it's very simple little mastermind ability. We're going to put him... do I put him in Cakeless? He is so lame for 50 points. Just mastermind. Yeah, it feels mean putting him in Cakeless. We're going to put him in D. I don't honestly know who goes into Cakeless if he doesn't. Like, this dude's probably Cakeless. Let's be real. This guy is probably also Cakeless. We'll reserve D for terrible, but at least they're funny, I guess. Sure, we'll roll with that. If you're just now joining, this is a Lex Luthor ranking video of every single Lex Luthor in Heroclix. I really like this. I like this style of video. I think this is fun for Heroclix. I think this is fun for just getting excited for Notorious, which gives us our latest version of Lex Luthor. So we move out of the Superman set. We go to DC 10th Anniversary. Now, this dude, if there ever was a Lex Luthor that should be in Cakeless, but because of how baller his big old chair, his big old Illuminati chair is, he goes to D. This Lex Luthor's like not good. He's not really that cool. I like the idea that he gets mad and gets flurry later. I don't understand what Illuminati Lex is doing here. Lex Luthor kills Skinny Steve every day. If it's specifically Skinny Steve, Lex Luthor kills Skinny Steve. If it is Captain America, Steve Rogers, or whatever, or like my buddy from high school named Steve, it's that version of Steve. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go ahead. Now, the Power Suit version, that's a Humanities Hero. Oh, sorry, not this one. Whoopsies. Where is he? There he is. That's Humanities Hero. If you don't look at this version of Lex Luthor and you're like, bro, that right there is Humanities Hero, you're smoking something. This Lex Luthor is incredible. He has the amazing phasing teleport when he does. If you move half, you can make a range attack as a free action, which is really solid. So he's got a 6 square overall, 12 square reach. He's got an 11 for 4 pen size. He's got some good reducers that kind of show his power armor slowly deteriorates over time. He gets to start the game, or like once per game, he just gets to place a piece of kryptonite. Now, it's whose name includes kryptonite, so you can choose the kryptonite ring if you want to. You can choose red kryptonite, gold kryptonite, green kryptonite. It's pretty awesome. It's really cool that this Lex Luthor just yoinks out kryptonite. I think it's the only Lex Luthor that has a kryptonite-esque ability besides just like exploit weakness or something on the dial. And then he deals penetrating damage, so his whole hatred will never die here is when he's just mad and he's punching. That is just penetrating damage to characters that possess the Superman ally team ability or the Kryptonian keyword. It's very specific to his hatred of Superman. And for that reason, this Lex Luthor is easily a Humanities Hero, Lex Luthor. He fits everything we need. He's got the Superman hate. He's got good keywords. And he's got like a kryptonite reference. He's got the leadership. He's way better now that there is no pushing damage. I will say that. So this Lex Luthor is easily Humanities Hero. Quick Start Kit Lex, I actually really enjoy. He's also is he really the only character with the LexCorp keyword? He is. That's really funny. They should print that keyword more. That's hilarious. Why not ranked higher? He's ranked as high as we can go. Humanities Hero is our S tier, triple S, best version of Lex Luthor ever. So if you guys don't understand the ranking system, let's full stop here really quickly. Cakeless is our worst, garbage, no cake, awful, which is a reference to the 40 cakes Lex Luthor, right? You understand. A, B, C, D, those all make sense. right? And then Humanity's Hero for Lex Luthor is our S tier, quadruple S, whatever, the perfect Lex Luthor, right? So very few are going to go in Humanity's Hero. This quick start kit I really enjoy, mostly for the fact that he has better range and better reach than the quick start kit Superman. He also has Pensai and he has top dial prob. So if you just at any point, you should always get the first hit off this Lex Luthor onto Superman. So you just kind of are always going to win that matchup if you play 9 times out of 10. I shouldn't say 9 times. Whatever percentage to hit Superman's defense with a prob with Lex Luthor is what you're going to win. So the fact that he always beats his opposite, his quick start Superman, just makes him so good. So even though he has a purple ring, he's going to A tier. Because I love how perfect that Lex Luthor is at killing his respective Superman. It's really cool. It's really good. Legion of Superheroes. We're going to get a flurry of interesting Lex Luthors here. I don't know how to totally feel about a lot of these. This guy's one of the better ones, where his powers can't be countered, and adjacent friendly characters with lower point value have Superman enemy team ability symbol, which allows you to get a crazy amount of outwits off, which is really cool. He does have just like wing, running shots, and then invuln. It's all in his speed power, which is wild. It doesn't matter if you outwit it. He just has some weird values. I like that he's got invuln most of his dial. I like this dial if we ignore like the point value. I'm gonna put him in A tier. I'm gonna put him in B tier. He's really fun. He's really cool. He's just not quite fully standout-ish as a Lex Luthor. So, Fast Forces, Legion of Superheroes 1. This guy's really bad. Stealth, he gives him other stealth. He's got these 16 defenses. I honestly, is he cakeless? He sucks, man. I think he goes to cakeless just because of how bad he is for a 2013 dial. He's just laughably bad. He goes to cakeless, I think. Next up, Lex Luthor's from Trinity War. If you were playing during Trinity War, you know that Subterfuge Lex is Humanity's Hero, Lex Luthor. He is in a triple S tier, quadruple A plus Humanity's Hero, Lex Luthor. I love him. He's got the running shot pulse wave. He's got the 7 range. He has the leadership. He can use leadership to remove it from himself. He begins the game with that subterfuge token where no opposing character can target him at all unless they began the turn adjacent to him. You paired this with a lot of stuff, but by itself, it was still so strong. He was an ID card battery call-in piece, which normally you'd be like, well, all they're used for is an ID card call-in battery. They're not really the best version of that character. But what is Lex Luthor if not the mastermind running the show? You can never kill Lex Luthor. You can never target him. And he's constantly bringing in people to do his work for him, to do all the hard. Like, that's Lex Luthor. Work smarter, not harder. This right here, this is a Humanity's Hero, Lex Luthor. He's amazing. Next up is the Gravity Feed one is really cool. He just has like Mastermind top dial, so just keep that in mind. But he can KO a friendly character of at least 50 points. And when he does, everybody on your team gets willpower. So that was a really fun ability back then. You would totally build teams around this. He has the very simple Injustice League politician keywords. I think for just being a fun Lex Luthor, he's going to go to B tier. I don't know. I don't think he's A tier quite. But he has a really cool ability. It's really unique. It's really fun. We're going to jump a little bit because this Lex Luthor shares a sculpt with them. And it's Kryptonite Trank Darts. Lex Luthor. I don't know what better name to really call him. But his Kryptonite Trank Darts, this is just a really solid Lex Luthor for the points, right? 110 points. Triple Bolt. It's incapacitated. It's not really incapacitated. When he hits one or more opposing characters, after resolutions, you give one of them an action token. Or you give one hit character with Kryptonian Cure 2 action tokens where he just instantly nerfs a Superman or a gross Kryptonian person. So, invulnerable power, very solid defense. 6 clicks, super short dial, but a very solid Lex. I think he goes A tier just for being a really cool, unique version of Lex Luthor that I personally really enjoy. So, moving back down the list to, where are we at? Superman and Wonder Woman. This Lex Luthor is really unique. I hate that he has this 17 defense top dial. I think it's more so he's like comfortable around the Justice League. He's pretending to be a member of the Justice League. Like that's kind of it is what it is type deal. but he's got this great, he comes in, he runs the show. So Justice League being changed is good. Superman Enemy still being solid is good. So I enjoy a lot of this stuff. Leadership Mastermind, all packed into a damage power. Mastermind being a damage power is so unique. Like, that's in and of itself is really cool. When he's considered higher point value, so he's just the highest point character with Justice League. I say the worst part about this guy is that he's 150 points. I wish he was less points. And I think at the time when Superman and Wonder Woman came out, this was like, yeah, Lex Luthor does have an ID card in the game. It's pretty solid. I think he just gives out adjacent Superman enemy. But there were good Lex Luthors to call in. Honestly, on the Subterfuge Lex team, you would usually run a call-in version of Subterfuge Lex as a Pulse Wave piece, just because they're both 200 points. This Lex Luthor, he's fine. He's pretty fun. I think he's going to go B tier, just as a solid version of Lex Luthor. Can't hate him. Can't super duper love him, though. We are skipping Lex and Joker, as that is a duo click. That's going to get ignored. Fast Forces. No, ID cards aren't on the tier list because that's not really a version of the character, right? We're trying to find a comic book accurate version of the character / like a fun, good Heroclix piece that represents the character well. That's the point of these tier lists. They're not meta. They're not what's the best, what's blah, blah, blah. It's like finding a good, nice, accurate version that just feels good to play. So the ID card's not on it. Alternate universe characters like Alex Luthor aren't on it. Mazas isn't on this list. And neither is like the ID card and stuff. Neither are duo figures. So, Fast Forces, World's Finest. This takes that sculpt from the Lex Luthor and Joker. He has all the keywords you want. He's president, a version of Lex Luthor. So he's got Mastermind at 150 points. He's got the police team ability, which is kind of fun. You know, it's kind of like the government team ability, you know. But he's really just a leadership, like, outwit piece. He's not particularly interesting. I think he's going to go C tier. He was a solid little version of the character at the time. He's just not terribly interesting. It's just the way it is for old President Lex. Now we do have both Jesse Eisenberg versions of Lex Luthor on this list. That may bother some people, but I heavily enjoyed playing both of these characters. Now, for the version that he was very much a younger version of the Superman 1, Superman 2-esque Christopher Reeves Lex Luthors, right? Those era. Gene Hackman, I want to say. I kind of forget, if I'm being honest. Because he had hair. He was kind of funny. He was kind of gimmicky. I liked his whole thing with the Jolly Ranchers. I liked the pee in the jar. That was funny. I liked the blowing people up. I liked the false god spray painted on the Superman statue. I really did. I did enjoy this version of Lex Luthor. He's not our main Lex Luthor, but he's a fun alternative. And I liked this dial. At the time, Sidestep Poison Outwit was very solid. You really wished he would have had these speed powers swapped. You would have liked to have a Sidestep TK Perplexible power. But this was still really fun Lex Luthor. For that, he's going to go B tier. Let me just make sure this is Fast Forces one. This is Fast Forces. This is the Silver Ring. So he's going to go B tier. He was actually pretty fun. He was a pretty fun Lex Luthor. The main set Lex Luthor I really enjoyed. I like him more. You know what, really, if this dude goes C tier, because the next one's going to go B tier. His social media manipulation is really funny. He did do that in the movie. It's also a reference to the Facebook movie that came out at the time. I forget what it's called. Whatever. But he has Perplex and Prob. With a range value of 8, and he can use either to target a character specifically named Superman regardless of range and line of fire. It's so funny. He's got the Mastermind we like. He's a very cool version of Lex Luthor. For that, I think this guy's going B tier. You know, I honestly I want to put him in A tier. I'm going to move this guy back up to B tier. I do like this guy for A tier. I think he's really funny. I do really like him. Okay, we do have God of Apocalypse on here. He is going to go, he's an easy A tier, because he's so freaking cool. God of Apocalypse is great. He falls prey to the fact that he's 250 points, where if he was 200 points, man, this dude would have been so good. I tried to make him work in the meta at the time that he came out, try to do a bunch of Mastermind fodder and everything, and I still think he's a super cool version of the character. Opposing characters in 6 squares, they can't reduce damage by more than 1. That's so sick. So the Impervious, the Invincible, it didn't really matter. It was all just toughness, really. He ignored hindering characters line of fire. He had that big 12 for 5. But man, His attack value halfway through the dial just goes down to a 10, which is really rough. He's got the cool Omega Judgment, the running shot when he hits. He can use TK at no cost to target a hit character. This didn't work for a long time when they got rid of TK like attacks, but now it does. Targeting a hit character, you just kind of move the character around, and like that's it. You would have preferred to be able to like TK like an object to be able to hit somebody. But this dude's still A tier. He's such an awesome, cool, iconic version of Lex Luthor. The Quintessence ability also just getting better makes him better. Animated series Lex Luthor. I like this guy a lot. He took 1 damage at a time. He couldn't be chosen for Mastermind because, you know, whatever. He's the guy in charge. I like that a lot, but it also balances his whole only takes 1 damage. And then he had Leadership, Outwit, Perplex, top dial. It's, again, I think Super Senses is a weird power. It's a weird power for Lex Luthor to have. Maybe game design-wise, it's like, oh, sure, all he's got is whatever. Maybe give him a rollout. Yeah, sure, he takes 1 damage at a time, fine, whatever. But he had great life. He had great livability, which makes him better than a lot of these other suited Lex Luthor counterparts. So he's going to go to a pretty easy B-tier Lex Luthor as a very fun, suited version of Lex Luthor. Rebirth is really cool. This is one of the few Lex Luthors that I own 2 of for a while because I really liked his 100-point line a lot. He was a lot of fun. So Rebirth here, yeah, it even says keep too. It's really funny. So he's got the whole protected outwit once per turn. Other characters, I like to list like the objection ability where, oh, you tried to outwit my outwit. No, I have protected outwits. Like that's really fun that you can just roll a d6. If you roll higher than them, you give that character protected outwit. That's really cool. Like he's just so much smarter than you. His armor, where he takes like a max of 1 damage from the first attack each turn, gives him some great survivability, gives him impervious for a very long point of his dial. And then he's got that Leadership Outwit ability, which is so solid. And then he can use 2 powers with Outwit instead. I think it's still in the same character, though. But I like him. This is an easy A-tier Lex Luthor. I just like him a lot. I think we skipped this OG President Lex. Somewhere down the line, we skipped this OG President Lex. Let's take a look at him, shall we? He's such, like, 100-point support piece. And you're like, dang, this dude is 100 points, and he's a support piece? That is, like, that's way too much. You can't have a support piece that's 100 points. That's ridiculous. But he's super fun. He's super cool. He makes it work. You buff a character so much. You choose a character to become, like, your guy. You give them the +1 combat values, depending on the click number. Each combat value at +1, right? So if you get up to click 5, every single one of his values is going to be +1. He's also always adjacent. So for his enhancement, his enhancement and power, those are always next to that character. And then he's got that 200-point mastermind to keep him alive. So this Lex Luthor being just one of the best sculpts goes to Humanity's Hero. He's the best version of President Lex. And he's also just, man, he's so cool. So I super, super duper enjoy that version of Lex Luthor. Man, who's next? We're in the home run here of Lex Luthor. So, because there's not many left. There really aren't. Oh, I never saved the Notorious one. I just realized. Oh, shoot. That's okay. This Lex Luthor, we're going to count all of his team ups. They're all pretty fine. They all are specifically, this Lex Luthor falls prey to the fact that they made 1 million dumb team ups for each character, for every single character they were with, instead of just being like, here's one keyword you can play them with, okay, here's another keyword, and then here's another keyword, which is the better way to do team ups, unless it's like the multiple characters on a team, in which case it's like, oh, it's that specific team. But just being like, oh, if you also have Cheetah, I guess they both have super senses. Like Lex Luthor had just very simple ones. It's like, oh, he's got Smoke Cloud is free to make 3 markers. And it's like, okay, I guess, like whatever. So they're pretty mid team ups. Oh, been yawning like crazy. So like this Lex Luthor's fine. He has the cool Pensai, Precision Strike, RCE, improved targeting, whatever. He can choose them once per turn, so he can be a 12 for 4 when he's running shots, or he can do Precision Strike, or you can have Pensai. He's a fine Lex Luthor. I think he goes in probably B tier. Yeah, he goes to B tier. We're not being as stingy with this list as we were on other lists It's just, kind of is what it is. Now, 40 cakes, Lex Luthor. Number one, as a Let's Cause Trouble Colin, an 11 for 3 with enhancement and precision strike was a baller Colin. Not many people used him for Let's Cause Trouble. I think he should have always been there. His +2 was like super strength. It's like, okay, who cares? Like, if they got super strength and they're hitting me, they probably have a pretty high attack value anyways. So this Lex Luthor, I love it. Man, I'm yawning like crazy. This is like super annoying. But he's good, right? He has the whole reference to the 40 cakes, which is so goated. He has the, remove the 10 tokens. Like, they were so awesome. He's one of the first ever, like, Dial Age tokens we ever made was the 40 Kex tokens. And I love these. So, for that reason alone, he's A tier. He goes to he's S tier. He's Humanity's Hero tier. Because he deserves it. Also, great sculpt. If it wasn't so breakable, it would be a better sculpt. But because it's so easy to break the boot jets, and it's also a bummer that he doesn't fly on the base because he's flying in the sculpt. That's some weird stuff where, like, the person that sculpts Heroclix and the person that makes the dial just apparently don't talk or something. But yeah, Cake Lex is a goated Lex. Our last Lex Luthor is going to be Wonder Woman 80th. If you know anything about this guy, he was a little tricky to get started sometimes, but a lot of the time you could figure out how to activate him. You would mastermind to him. You would do all sorts of crazy stuff to get his bystanders out. The bystanders are so freaking cool. I don't know how this guy doesn't go to Humanity's Hero, especially when in Red Sun he is literally Humanity's Hero and like the hero of that story. Like, no cap, like he just is. So that version of Lex is an easy Humanity's Hero, because what are you gonna do, Superman? Put the whole world in a glass bottle? Put the whole world in a bottle? You loser! You freaking lame-o. So yeah, if we had to choose a spot for Orange Lantern Notorious Lex, which like he still doesn't have an image here, which sucks. If we had to choose a place for him, he is probably like a B tier. He's a pretty middle of the road Lex Luthor. There's nothing crazy about him. He has a neat ability to give out Superman Enemy, which is like a million Lex Luthors before him can give out Superman Enemy, so there's that. But yeah, guys, let me know where you would rank all of these Lex Luthors. I might add this link to the description of this video after we're done doing live, so you can rank them all. It's kind of up to you. Our only cakeless versions are the Fast Forces, Legion of Superheroes, the Fast Force, man, just Fast Forces just does Lex dirty, I suppose. The Fast Forces Superman set, the main set, I want to say this is Justice League or something like that. D-list Cosmic Justice, he would be in cakeless if he wasn't point value 69 points, which is just so funny. This guy being 87 points, he would also be in cakeless if he didn't just have one of the coolest sculpts ever in the Illuminati chair pointing at you. These ones are all fine Lexes. We have a fine President Lex. We have a fine Power Suit. Cool sculpt, I guess. And then Orange Lantern Lex, the only reason he's not in D or cakeless is because he's Orange Lantern. The B tier, I think these are all pretty middle of the road Lexes. There's nothing particularly crazy about them, but they're all very fun in their own right. And then I think A tier, in their weight class, they're pretty dang solid. You like them in their weight class. You want to hope they're maybe even better than they actually are, but they're really, really fun Lex Luthors to play. It's crazy that we have the same amount of A tier as we do Humanity's Hero. To be fair, what's making the Humanity's Hero ones is that we're not being as stingy with this list as we were with Captain America. I think the only true Humanity Hero, like true, like some of these guys are better than the rest of these, is like Cake Lex, Subterfuge Lex, and then this DC-10 Lex. Those are like actually super accurate versions of Lex Luthor. These other two, President Lex is just cool in his own right with the amazing sculpt, and then Red Sun Lex is also also President Lex Luthor too. Cool in his own right with awesome abilities, but maybe not necessarily what we want to see from a Lex Luthor. But all right, guys, we're going to call it there. Hopefully you enjoyed this live stream. Let me know what characters in the future you want me to do a tier list for. Right now, like we did Captain America, we did Lex Luthor. Cap's my favorite Marvel character. Lex Luthor is like my favorite to like fighting with Guy Gardner for my favorite DC character, so he's just kind of up there. But let me know. We're getting close to Notorious, so if you want to see more DC tier lists, let me know. A character that has less Heroclix versions of themselves probably has a higher chance of getting made into a tier list. If you say Batman or Superman, I'm not going to do those. That's just not going to happen. But like Lex Luthor, maybe like Penguin or something like that, like a tier list that's interesting. Don't do don't do Penguin. That's kind of lame. Harley Quinn could be like a tier list or something, but just let me know what tier lists you want to see in the future. And like always, happy